Hey everyone, and this is Dan again with Senior E-Bike Nation. Caleb over here.
Hi.
Again, listen, hope we're going to get some better video this time of the airplanes up here. And I may get off my bike up here, I'm not sure, but I want to see, get a better picture and explanation of what these planes are. These are definitely World War II and before and after planes that are in mothballs, obviously. So yeah, we're going to get a better picture of them today, so let's go. Maybe if I get a little more of a distance, I'll get a better photo or better video. If I get up like over here, yeah, I'll get a better video of it. So yeah, here we are. This one is the Fairchild Republic A10A Thunderbolt. I'm not sure when it was decommissioned. I believe this was back in the 60s, if I remember correctly, when I was here before. But yeah, I mean, it looks like it could be pretty fast, actually. One cockpit. Looks like we got one pilot's going to be able to fly that one. But anyway, let's go on and move down to the next one. Almost looks like a bomber. I'll get a picture of this and then I will take the video. This is the Lockheed AC-130A Spectra gunship. This is one I was talking about the other day. So range on it's 2,500 miles. Wow. And it's got 4 Allison T56 A11 turboprops on it with 4,050 horsepower each. Maximum speed 380 miles an hour. Let me back up here a little bit so I can get a picture of it again here. There you go, there it is. So as you can see, it's a pretty good size. We'll just stay on this side over here, Caleb, and just go on down through there.
All right.
As soon as we figure out what kind of plane it is. If I was an airplane buff, I'd know that, wouldn't I? Some of these guys know what these are. Okay, we'll go down to number 3 here. Get a picture of it here, and then I'll see what it is. But yeah, look at the nose on this thing. I'm not sure if that's radar in that. I'm not a plane expert by no means. I was in the Navy, not the Air Force.
So.
Think that's radar?
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. So yeah, let me go up here and see what this is, but it's just beautiful. This is the Boeing EC-135E area in the 1960s, McDonnell Douglas, and it became operational in January of 1968. And look at the wingspan on that thing. It's just, it's huge.
It probably fit inside one of the engines, well, turbines.
These bikes just might.
Yeah.
They're almost, we talked about the other day, about the same size landing gear.
Yeah.
And this was put out on the base here, transferred here in December of 1975. So range on it's 2,800 to 4,500 nautical miles without in-flight refueling. Wow. And weight can carry 300,500 pounds maximum takeoff gross weight. It'll crew of 11, and it's powered by TF33 PW102 turbofans and 18,000 pounds of thrust each. So we got 4 of them on this plane. Mm-hmm. So yeah, if you lose an engine, you're okay. You lose 2 engines, you still may be okay. Lose a 3rd one, you might be in trouble. I don't know. Anyway, that's about this one. This is a big one, so we're gonna get back over up to the next one, and I'll get at a distance first and show you the plane, and then I will go up and look at the specs on it. Yeah, wing's kind of low, isn't it? Here's the next one we're going to look at. Yeah, another big one. And of course they've got covers on every one of these turbos. what do you call these things on?
Turbines?
Turbines.
Yeah.
Turbos, not turbos, turbines. And you can see they've got the covers on all those to protect those, obviously, from even birds nesting in there or whatever. And they got the same on this other plane over here. But let's see what this one is here. This is the Boeing KC-135R Strato tanker. 1957. Wow. And it looks like it could carry some fuel too. I guess that's yeah, you can see the photo of it here refueling here on the other planes. And of course it's got the telescoping boom that comes out on it, which I don't see that on here. They probably took that off when they redone that nose. I'm thinking that's where that was. And this came here, I think, in the 1980s. Maybe transferred here. But it flew on 31st of May, 1967. And it did say a downed U.S. Navy pilot needed rescued in the Southeast Asia. And 2 Navy F-8 fighters provided cover for the pilot. For several hours, 2 Navy A-3 tankers kept the F-8s fueled and flying, but the group was dangerously low on fuel and could not make it back to their aircraft carriers. The KC-135 crew responded and refueled the tankers while they simultaneously refueled the fighters. While returning to base, they fueled 2 more Navy F-4s. Wow. Yeah, this United States Air Force had it together back even in the 1950s, as you can tell. It's incredible. We're going to go over to the next one, which is the, looks like another cargo plane here. It's called the Boeing C-7 Globemaster 3. And it's big. It was entered service in 1993. And it actually came to the museum in 2012. They said this is its new career in April 2012. And so it's only been here 13 years, 12 years, 13 years. But yeah, it's large. It basically, I'm trying to look at the what it says on this thing here. It actually did a lot of range flight test, more than anything, I think, just by looking at it. But yeah, it's huge. I mean, we've got some planes over here on the other side of the base, Caleb, aren't they? A lot bigger than this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, for cargo planes, this is the C-17 here, of course. But yeah, they're big. But yeah, all this technology that these guys had even back in the 60s and the 50s was pretty incredible. So now you can see why we're in the world's leader when it comes to aviation, for sure. There's not too many of our services are outmatched by any other countries anyway, including China, as far as I'm concerned. We've got some really top of the line stuff around. So anyway, we're gonna head on back now and maybe get a couple still photos Caleb wants to do. We've got one more plane to look at here we didn't see. This is the rear end of this plane. And as you can see, they look like they could drop some cargo down through here. It looks like this tail came down at one time, maybe. And let's go see what this thing is. This is a prop plane here. It's got turboprops on it. And this one here is the flight simulator we looked at the other day, built in the 1960s. So yeah, this is what trained a lot of our pilots right here. I'm gonna get a picture of it here so you guys can see it. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about these planes. I mean, this is really cool to see the history on these things and when they flew. And boy, if you go inside the Air Force Museum that is up here, which we can't take our bikes in there and we can't video anyway, so they've got some incredible stuff inside this. Caleb's been inside more than I have. I've only been in there about twice. How many times you been in there?
Maybe 3-4 times a year.
3 or 4 times a year?
Yep.
Does your dad go with you, your mom?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Parents, grandparents.
Nice. But just to see all the different things they have inside, I mean, I know they got JFK's presidential plane in there, don't they?
They have a lot of them, actually.
More.
Pretty sure maybe all of the decommissioned ones.
Really? They're all in there?
There's at least 5 to 7 in there.
I know Doolittle's plane's in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Doolittle was the one that flew on that bombing mission. I seen a special one last night, actually, that he went on a bombing mission to Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And they was bombing Japan. And they were having to train to get to actually fly off an aircraft carrier because of the distance they had to fly.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually trained, I think, like on asphalt. They had a picture of an aircraft carrier that was painted on the asphalt, and they had to get off that at a certain time in order for them to simulate what it's going to be on the aircraft carrier. Yeah. And I'm trying to remember the aircraft carrier that carried them at that time. There was 2 of them. One was for support, and the other one actually had the bombers on it. Mm-hmm. And they just devastated a lot of Japan at that time. And that was before Midway, of course. So Japan took a pretty good whooping on Midway as well. But anyway, that was kind of cool history there. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a real Air Force buff, but Caleb studies a lot of this stuff too. He likes this stuff. So anyway.
You want to pull up in between both of these benches here, get a photo?
Yeah.
Of all these planes?
Let's do that. Yeah, because that'd be a good photos for our channel. You want to do this one? Where do you want to stop at to park the bikes? Okay. I'll kind of point mine the other way, right at your front tire. It'll be a good video. Good photo there. Okay, Caleb's going to get a little bit of photos here so we can
have some
thumbnails for the videos. So Caleb takes care of that for me most of the time. He gets these thumbnails for us, so we're going to let him do that. And yeah, I mean, it's just beautiful to come down here and see this. I don't come down here enough. You know, like I said, I've only been inside the Air Force Museum a couple times, and Caleb says he gets in there like 2 or 3 times a year. Comes with his family, which is nice, and his grandparents. So, yeah, really cool. But we can't go on premises up there anyway. I am a CCW carrier, and I can't cross a certain place up there, so got to be real careful. But I'm sure on the weekend you'll see a lot more people down here. Now, we didn't see anybody here. I think we was here on Saturday, but it was raining on Saturday too, so we didn't get a chance to see anybody out here. But it's so peaceful and quiet, and up here is your main base. Wright-Patterson Air Force Base is really known for technology. And yeah, the base is huge. I mean, I can't remember how much square miles that we have up in here, but it's fairly large. May not be the largest Air Force base, but it's a well-known Air Force base for sure. I've heard stories in the past where this base is actually on the hit list on a nuclear strike by foreign countries. I don't know if that's true, but I've heard that when I was even a child. So we're talking 50 and 60 years ago. They talked about this as definitely on their hit list for any kind of nuclear warfare or attack. So that's the kind of stuff we just got to be really careful of. But anyway, Caleb's finishing up some thumbnails here for us. Did you get them?
Yep.
And
got some video for a short.
that's even better.
Yep.
So we got some thumbnails and some video.
Yeah.
Good. So anyway, I think we're going to stop the video right here. We're going to not do any more today. This is plenty. And we got a lot of footage today, and I hope you guys have enjoyed the different views of the bikes, the little bit of range, not a range test, but more of a comparison between the Zoda Zephyr, which it's a beautiful bike. I'm not saying it's not. It's a gorgeous bike. But I'll tell you, Ovia almost knocked it out of the park. Other than that back reflector instead of a taillight, they knocked it out of the park. This air shock on this bike is just incredible.
I'll say one thing. I think the Zoda has tires, better tires.
Do you really?
Because they're Kinda tires.
Okay.
More name brand tires.
You may be right there. Where I think these are Chang, if I remember right. My other bike had, I'm trying to see who's the manufacturer. It doesn't say. It's just got the Zoda emblem on these tires. I'm not sure who makes their tires. You can bet they're not Kinda though, because they would say Kinda on their tires.
The Zoda has metal fenders.
Yes.
And I'd say it's easier to control off-road, which is the same comparing it to the Komoda.
Okay.
Because the hardtail seems just easier to control off-road versus full suspension.
Makes sense.
But obviously there's the full suspension. It's more comfortable off-road if you're sitting down on the Ovia.
Yeah, we only have front suspension on the Zoda here.
Yeah.
Um,
Headlight, I prefer the handlebar position on the Ovia too. It's further forward,
yes.
Slightly higher.
Headlights, incredible. Old school.
Yep.
Very bright. We had it out the other night, and it was very bright. And it put out like a square pattern in front of you, and we're really happy with that. Now, again, this has the folding pedals. You just got to pull in and fold that pedal. So that's a design change they had versus the Komoda. The Komoda actually had to fold the whole pedal, and that's changed. A little bit about the bike again. It's got a 750 watt rear hub motor on it by Bafang. It's got a tourney derailleur here, and very peppy. I mean, as I mentioned earlier on this video, this thing's extremely peppy. It's got the torque just like the Cyrusher does. The Zoda's got good torque as well, don't it?
Not as good though.
But not as good as the...
it has more speed, but the Ovia has more torque.
The Ovia's got more torque. That's what I thought too, riding it.
And then the Ovia has taller gear, so at higher speed you don't have to pedal as fast.
Yes, that's true. And besides that, the 52 volt 17 amp hour battery sits down in this down tube. It actually comes forward on this bike, where the Cyrusher, it was just the opposite. It came this way. Bigger battery for sure than what was on the Komoda. It's got a twist throttle just like the Komoda did, where the Zoda has on the left side, a twist throttle, twist throttle, where this one is on the right side.
Which I prefer the throttle on the Ovia.
You like it on the right side better?
Zoda. Yep.
I think so.
And it's the hand twist throttle rather than the thumb throttle.
Some people like, I mean, our neighbor down the street likes this. He even bought an attachment to go over the twist throttle. He likes that better. I don't like the thumb throttle that much. Not as much as I like the twist throttle. There's a difference there. But as far as comfort, I mean, as I mentioned earlier, with this air shock on the back of this thing, it's incredibly comfortable. Now, it does come with a rack. This came with a bike. I actually purchased a bike bag from Rock Brothers. I'll put all this down in the description box if I can remember to do that. It does have a place for a cup holder, which I put here. And other than that, everything sits down here below the pedals as far as your controller and all your wiring. Where the Komoda, it actually sit down inside the down tube, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Where this one's a little different. And other than that, I purchased this mirror to go on here. That's different. The screen display, I forgot to show you that. It's, I don't know if you can see it with the reflection. But it's a, I mean, we've probably come, what, about 9 miles here, you think, Caleb?
Actually, the Zoda should say.
Yeah, you got it on yours.
I'll turn it on real quick. 8.9 miles.
That's what I figured. Can you look at this? Because I can't see it with the reflection. Can you tell me how many percentage we have left?
96%.
We're still at 96% on this
Which,
Ovia.
something I've found is the lower the percentage, the faster it starts to go down.
Good point.
It's not horribly fast, but it's like slightly faster. You'll notice between 180% is slower than between 80 and 60%.
I think you're right. I think it has a lot to do with it on battery degradation, don't it?
Yeah.
So that's, Caleb had a valid point there. The fender design on this one is different too than the Komodo. I want to show you this real quick. On the Komodo, they do not have this wire that's tied into the front fender. This one actually mounts into the front suspension, where the Komodo does not have that. It doesn't have anything. It just goes into the, ties into the fork, I believe. And this one sits lower. And as Caleb mentioned, when it's raining, you don't get wet with this one like you do the Komodo.
Yeah.
And the Komodo, you don't get too wet either. And it's a lot like on this Zoda. It's very well designed too, where you're not going to get much splash coming up on that tire or coming up on you off the tire itself. But yeah, if you guys got any comments or anything else you want to know about the Ovia, I am highly impressed with the performance of the Ovia. Cyrusher again knocked it out of the park, other than this reflector they put on here, which I don't like. But we went ahead and put on a aftermarket kind of tail light on it. And this is my cup holder that I purchased to put on here. And like I said, little cup holder. I like those mounting points on that. Does not have that on the Zoda. But they got a different design on the frame itself, obviously. But this here also is a folding bike. There's pros and cons on that too.
Yeah.
What do you like about the folding bike?
Well,
What do
you can transport it better storage.
Okay.
I mean, that's most of what you're getting out of it.
That's about all the difference.
If you live in the city, it'll be easier to store it.
If you have to go upstairs.
If you need to put it in your car, you can put it in your car pretty easily.
Like we did when we took it
I mean,
on a road trip.
If you think about it, you aren't really gonna fit the Ovia in a small car or something.
No?
If you get a small hatchback or something.
Yeah, you'd need a little bigger or a pickup truck to carry this Ovia.
But you can fold the Zoda down.
Yeah.
It's probably, I don't know, 3 feet long, 4 feet long.
Yeah, I think that's about right once you fold it.
About 1.6 inches wide.
Yeah.
That's about it.
So it's very compact to travel with for sure.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, I don't see anything wrong with this bike whatsoever. It's got the lockout on your front suspension as well, where you can adjust it, as you can see. And again, I put this little bar on here as an add-on. So again, I'm gonna try to remember to put all that in the description box, but we're gonna go ahead and sign off now. But I just wanted to show and a little bit about the Ovia, where he still got to do the range review. I'm gonna wait till I get another battery. I wanna see how far this thing will go till we drain it.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm a little afraid to do that because we've walked with these bikes before. It's no fun, is it, Caleb?
No, we only walked about a mile with them, but that wasn't really fun.
And that was the Cyrusher Komodo.
Yep.
And we had gone 46 miles that day, so, you know, it didn't do bad.
No, not really.
We was in pedal assist 5 most of that trip. So, yeah. But that was a difference that Caleb and I said, well, we need another battery if we're going to try to do these kind of tests on these bikes. But yeah, share and like the video. I hope we've done a good comparison. I hope you guys like the planes that we showed here and a little bit about the Air Force Museum. And share and like the video, hit that subscribe button, and we will see you
on the next video.